You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, a strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who, disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is iWalter. Welcome to another one of my shows. I am Walter, the host. It is the 4th of July weekend. I'm sorry about that. My mail just came down. On July 5th, it's heading towards the end of the holiday weekend once again. I actually spend my weekend. I had taken myself and also my parents on a trip up to the Amish country, which I'll try to discuss a little bit. Unfortunately, if you go to my Facebook page, I don't have that many pictures because the simple fact is I don't want to disrespect the Amish for letting us into their homes. There was 3 different stops, so I'd like to talk a little bit about that. And they were very nice, so very respectful, so you got to respect their wishes too. So I kept the pictures down to like next to none. I have to pull this up because I just think it's great. She's actually much better looking. It's Elizabeth Olsen. She's like she's part of the Olsen family, but she looks really hot too. I liked her in that Marvel movie too. She doesn't have that anorexic, like, not, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the right word, like, concentration camp look like her sisters, her twin sisters do, but you can definitely see the relation in her face and everything. But it was on the Daily Mail, and it says, Elizabeth Olsen laughs off a Marilyn Monroe moment as she flashes her nude underwear at Moo Moo Celebrity Packed first fragrance launch in Paris. Yeah, she's definitely great, good-looking woman, and thank God, I guess, for her favor. I mean, for her, because she doesn't look completely like her sisters. You can tell she's related, though. You can definitely see that. But yeah, I'm not going to go into much of anything very in much detail. Yeah, this one was funny, too. I'm kind of holding off and talking about the Amish right away. It was also on the Daily Mail. I thought it was funny because if you ever watched Better Call Saul, I actually have to finish that series. I got so many different shows that I buy anymore, and I don't watch any of them. I watch very little of anything. I buy games, video games. I don't even play them. I think I mentioned that before. They're still in the shrink wrap. But anyway, this was kind of funny because it reminded me of, you ever watched Better Call Saul? It reminds me of the character Saul's brother, because it's in the Daily Mail, and it says the woman is allergic to electricity. 50-year-old dons protective suit and veil to go outside as she claims Wi-Fi could kill her. That's the same thing with Better Call Saul. This woman thinks claims she's allergic to electricity. I've never heard anything so ridiculous. I just think it's got to be something else. But if you ever watched Better Call Saul, again, and you've seen that brother, this woman is like a true case. It says Jackie Lindsay, 50, claims she has electromagnetic hypersensitivity, or EHS. Says the condition is not recognized by doctors in the UK. Well, maybe she watched Saul. That's where she got the idea from. In the UK means she is allergic to electricity, Wi-Fi, and phones that could cause shock. Well, that's the same freaking thing as what they made up in that TV show. It says he wears a suit and a veil woven with silver to reflect magnetic current and doesn't leave her home without an electromagnetic field testing device. I'm sorry. I just think the woman's nuts, but what do I know? Yeah, there's some other interesting stories. Hey, there's some good pictures. It was on dailyworthypictures.me, and I haven't seen him yet. I think it's a little goofy, though. It says Selena Gomez is the queen of upskirts, and she's got her bikini on, and then she had like this pullover, looks like a skirt, but it's just basically it's a pullover, the bottom part of her suit, and they're claiming that you could see up her skirt, and it's like, yeah, you're really kind of pushing that one a bit far. I don't know. I think they're just grasping, and they show other pictures too, but I think they're just grasping at like little goofy stuff. Yeah, this was pretty good. I had to take it. I had to steal. It was a picture from Kevin Smith's webpage, directly from his webpage. It looks like his daughter baked a flag cake. I mean, it literally is red, white, and blue inside the cake. So I thought that was pretty good. It says, "Happy birthday, America. You are a nation rich in our history." First President Abraham Lincoln said at Bunker Hill, "Let them eat cake." But yeah, his daughter, she's gotten really good looking. He looks great too since I've seen him the last 2 times, especially that he really lost a lot of weight, Kevin Smith. Anyway, another story. This was a different source than what I originally had seen. I think it was originally, I saw this article on the Daily Mail. This actually is from My Fox Philly. It's hit a couple different tabloids. And it is titled, "Teen Pulls 4-inch long centipede out of his ear." It is really nasty looking, too. FoxNews.com, a 14-year-old boy from Arkansas discovered the cause of his painful earache was a 4-inch centipede. Fox 59 reported Grant Body woke up after feeling the pain and pulled the insect out of his ear. Yeah, that's pretty weird, though. It's, again, I would be screaming like, I don't want to sound politically incorrect, but I'd be screaming like a woman if I saw that. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put it. This was another story, by the way. It was kind of funny. A friend sent it to me. It was on Hustlers.com, and it's McDonald's employee fired for placing his mixtapes in children's Happy Meals, and that was in Chicago. This is a Chicago teenager named Tyson Granger was reportedly fired from his job. He was an African-American. At McDonald's for allegedly placing mixtapes in children's Happy Meals rather than the usual toy. Well, hey, the kids don't care about your music, dude. They care about their toys. I just think that's ridiculous. His music was probably pretty bad, too, if you have to go to that level. By the way, there was a funny picture. I thought it was for real. That's the best Photoshop I've ever seen. And they took this picture of this hot-looking girl in a red, white, and blue, a flag bikini. It's almost like that one you see. I can't remember the name of the movie. It's basically open all the way in the front, and she's got big boobs. And it looks pretty hot, but they put Hillary Clinton's face on top of it. And whoever did the Photoshop, though, they did a really good job. I was actually really surprised how good it looked. Oh, this is pretty funny, too. I'm going to have to read this real quick. Daily Mail again. This story, at least, is. And it says, he's heading for the Dead Sea. Canyonist terrified after man dressed as an undertaker emerged from the mist and paddles past her in a coffin. So I thought it was actually Abe Lincoln at first, but he is definitely paddling on a coffin. An undertaker. Man dressed as an undertaker and paddling a coffin spotted by locals. The undertaker wearing a suit and a top hat, and also had a plastic flowers on his boat. It says locals say they were shocked to see the bizarre man emerge from the fog. It basically says sailors said he was heading to a nearby cemetery to prepare a grave. What a way to do it, though. There's some pictures, too, of him. Yeah, trying to figure out where this location is, though. Yeah, if you want to look at it, by the way, because before I botch up this story, it looks like it was in Australia, but you can find it on the Daily Mail, UK Mail. It's just called Daily Mail anymore. For any of us, I like these stories, by the way, so I'm going to pull this up. Predator teacher gets 22 years for sex with students. This was on CBSNews.com. Jennifer Fletcher. It's like, I hate to tell you, the woman's lucky if she sees like 5 minutes in a jail cell, more or less 22 years. Good luck on that one. That was in Lakeland, Florida. A former Lakeland teacher was who admitted to having sex with several of her students. Will spend the next 22 years behind bars. CBS affiliate WTSP has just, this was the other day, announced. She was accused of having sex with a 17-year-old student just 1 month after starting her new job. But there was other ones, too, apparently involved. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're screwed if you're a guy, but if you're a woman, trust me, they're going to say, yeah, you're going to have these fines and spend multitude of years in jail. You're not going to see any of that stuff. Trust me, she's going to be out free and about doing the same thing again in, like, record time. Anyway, this was really funny. This was, I think a friend sent me this one. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm trying to look at the name of the web link. It looks like people of Lancaster.com. I thought it was really funny. It's titled Al Sharpton accuses sharks of racism for only biting white victims. Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous? That was on the 2nd of July. It says Cape Fap, North Carolina. I think I might have said it wrong, but PH is pronounced S, so it looks like Cape Fap. The Reverend Al Sharpton announced today that he's visiting North and South Carolina beaches to protest the racist shark attacks. Yeah, shark knows between a black man and a white man. I'm sure they do. And I'm sure they put hoods over their heads underneath the water, the sharks do. I would almost be 100%, I could say that they do. Anyway, I'm trying to see where I left off. I've never heard anything so ridiculous, though. I just don't understand this, man. Sharks have been terrorizing East Coast beaches this summer with record numbers of attacks on ocean swimmers. However, the Reverend Al Sharpton says that the sharks are purposely discriminated against black swimmers and only biting the white ones. That man's totally nuts. What is this? Do we not taste enough? Good enough? Whatever. That's actually what he said. That's what he's quoted saying. He says, "What is this? We're not good enough to taste." I mean, I don't know. I don't think I should read anymore. If you can believe this man's actually calling sharks, an animal that lives in the water, racist. I don't know. Here was a funny one a friend sent me too. It was on break.com. This is a video you have to watch. Again, it's break.com. It's called the video is Watch Your Hooligans Destroy a Walmart for Fun. Fun will make you shake your head. And I hate to say it, not to be pinpointing again, but they are all African Americans destroying a freaking Walmart. So, I mean, what is the point behind that, folks? This has got a lot of people scratching their heads. A different story, and it is on ftw.ustoday.com. And it's Bubba Watson will paint over the Confederate flag on his General Lee. So, yeah, the man bought like one of the few of the original cars, original General Lees that were used in the TV show. And he wants to now remove the Confederate flag. That is what makes that car what it is. I mean, he paid... it says he was born in Florida and attended the University of Georgia. He paid $110,000 for the freaking car. at an auction in 2012. Now he wants to destroy the freaking car. It says Bubba Watson's General Lee, also known as the 1969 Dodge Charger, driven by the Dukes brothers in the 1980s TV show The Dukes of Hazzard, will no longer have the Confederate flag on top. I mean, it's his car, but I still think that's just ridiculous. On Thursday, the two-time master champion tweeted he decided to paint over his American flag. That is a real crying shame. I'm trying to see. This was kind of cool. Maybe not to most people. It is to me. It was on comicbook.com. I know I'm kind of late saving the best for last, I hope. But it's actually titled Pride and Prejudice and Zombies Photo Release. So they actually, I was hoping they would do this. They're actually going to do it now. They're making that Pride and Prejudice, what do you call it? That Pride and Prejudice book novel. You know, the book. Basically, it's a zombie version of Pride and Prejudice. I thought that was like mentioned in Philadelphia. I thought that, you know, that book, the guy who, or the person who wrote the book, actually was from Philly. I don't know. I don't know anything about the book, so I shouldn't even talk any longer. But anyway, it says Entertainment Weekly has scored new photos from next year's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies film adaptation of Seth Grahame-Smith's best-selling novel. So that's really cool, though. So they are going to make that into a movie. I know zombies are overdone, but that seemed pretty interesting. A zombie movie of Pride and Prejudice based upon the zombie book. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of cool either way. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see if I missed any. Oh, this was pretty good, too. I have to admit, she's got a nice body. It was on Daily Mail. It's Leanne Rimes. She's actually wearing a, what do they call it? Like, what was the name of that car? The Trans, not the Trans Am, the other one. She's got a bathing suit on with that design. Leanne Rimes dons retro star-spangled monokini to celebrate the 4th. It says the country singer expressed her excitement about the new assembled, showing a full details of the patriotic one piece by minimal. Emmanuel. I can't say, but it looks like, what was that car that had? It was the other car that the Firebird. It looks. I thought I saw an article. They called it the Firebird bikini, which would be more appropriate because that's what it actually looks like. Either way, she looks really hot in that. And I'm not a big country singer. I'm not a big fan of Leanne Rimes, but I tell you, I'd be at 10 Kleenex about a bathing suit just looking at it with her in it. Plays peekaboo in a mesh swimsuit like Leanne. Trying to see. Yeah, she looks really good. That's all I can say, though. She looks like incredible in that. She's got a weird looking face, so wouldn't stop me, though. Okay, but yeah, that was on the Daily Mail UK. Yeah, this is getting a little out of hand, but it says Daily Mail, white family with black house guests wake up to find their truck covered in KKK graffiti. So that's mainly, there's not much you can read about it, but you can actually see the pictures on the Daily Mail about this incident where, yeah, they have a black girl staying at their house, and because I guess other people didn't appreciate this, they actually spray painted on the family's pickup truck KKK, and the word KKK. I'm trying to see. It says a white. Okay, this was in the South. This was in Texas too, by the way. It says a Texas couple who were hosting their black friends over for the holiday weekend awoke to find their truck covered in racist graffiti and hateful pictures. So yeah, you can see that on there. That's pretty sad. Oh, my thing. Oh, this was an interesting story. I'm going to have to look at that, too. This one's not that I'm going to read next, but I'm not going to read it, though. It's on BrettBart.com. Trump on Mexico comments, I can't apologize for the truth. And I have to bite my tongue on that, but I think he's kind of right. Yeah, you can't really change the truth, and he's absolutely right. I mean, his statements are a little bit crude, but I think what he meant by it is like, yeah, a lot of the illegals that come to this country or in this country for a specific reason, they are trying to leave, if it's Mexico or elsewhere, because they probably have criminal records, and a lot of them do. So anyway, it says Sunday on Fox News Channel's Media Buzz, Republican presidential candidate and billionaire businessman monologue, Donald Trump addresses his controversial comments on some Mexican immigrants being rapists and murderers. Said he was simply commenting on the media reports on border crime, and therefore he can never apologize for the truth. So I heard that too. Yeah, his I don't want to call it an excuse, but he does make sense. This is what's being reported, that there is these people that come over the borders, and they basically are criminals to begin with, and he calls more criminal acts once they get in this country. So you can't deny the truth. So he is right about that in many ways. So anyway, this was an interesting story. You can see the pictures. They're actually not pictures. I shouldn't say pictures. It's a woman. She's an armless woman, Jessica Cox, like Courtney Cox, flies plane with feet. She has no arms. She's a really good-looking girl, too. But there's a video. There's no pictures. By any definition, Jessica Cox is an accomplished woman. The 32-year-old resident of Tucson, Arizona, was born without arms, but has managed to learn to surf, play the piano, and get a black belt in Taekwondo. And now she's flying a plane. You know what? She's got more balls than I do. I mean, that's incredible. She's a good-looking girl, too. So, I don't know how... I don't know. For a guy, it would be hard to not have even one arm. More or less no arms. Yeah, that would be... that's punishment. That's like God really hates you there. But, hey, this woman defeated her not having any arms. That's amazing. That's great. I give her credit. They keep on putting up, by the way, it's on bloodydisgusting.com. It says Ash versus Evil Dead teaser is short but sweet. So, and there's something that says number SDCC, which I have no clue what that stands for. So there's a teaser on bloodydisgusting.com, and it doesn't really say much of anything, but it says Bruce Campbell is strapping on his chainsaw and loading up the boomstick for his return as Ash in Stars, Ash versus Evil Dead. And now that I stopped downloading things illegally, this is going to really kill me, because that is something I would love to see. I hope they put it up right away, that you could at least purchase a season pass, because I would buy that in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think about it. So, and by the way, folks, it was funny. I had to buy, it was like $16, free shipping on eBay. After I saw those Donald Trump pinatas, which they are selling on eBay now. Somebody actually selling them from California, but they're charging you like $40 for the pinata and $60 shipping. It's like, okay, that's a little overpriced for shipping. So anyway, it was like, yeah. And what came up when I put that in there was, well, maybe you kind of like would want to buy I didn't know they put this out because I never watched it. When he had that TV show. What do you call it? I never watched it, so I don't even know the name of the freaking show. I'm gonna see. I'll do some typing, yo. I got some interesting stories too. Some that people might not like too. I bought a 12-inch Donald Trump talking doll, and it's from his TV show. He had The Apprentice. And it was like, yeah, I definitely got to get that. I think it was hilarious. For $16, it would be something to freaking add to my collection of goofy stuff, goofy toys that I buy. So I thought that was really cool. Anyway, yeah, yesterday, me and my parents and I, we went to on this trip, which at first they were complaining, and then they end up like loving it. Like that's all they're freaking talking about now. Is this trip we had taken to Lancaster in the family's homes. Now, these people, they were very nice. Again, I was trying to be respectful. I did not take any pictures that would kind of jeopardize the future of people doing tours through the Amish homes. And again, it was really cool. I really liked it. My parents, my mom, my mother's side, she's half Pennsylvania Dutch. So I told the last family we went to, I said, yeah, on my mother's side, I'm partially, my mother definitely is, partially Pennsylvania Dutch. They didn't know how to really answer that. But the funny thing is, from hearing what they had to say, a lot of them are more modern now. They still don't use electricity. If they buy I guess what they would call an English home, they have to make sure they convert it within so much time. If they want to stay Amish, they basically have to take any type, they have to go off grid, I think they call it, off the grid, because they're not allowed to have any, they're not allowed to basically have any electricity or any modern things. So, yeah, so they have to get that removed. So they basically run off of a generator and stuff. They wash with propane. They use an old type washer, not a modern washer, because they can't use any modern stuff. And that's interesting. They still do that today. I think that's really cool. But I tell you, their clothes are really clean. It was funny. There was different families that went along with my parents and I, and one was from New York. They were a little bit obnoxious, but they actually said, do you use laundry detergent when you wash your clothes? And it was funny. I almost had a laugh. And the woman says, yeah, we use Tide. Like, they buy name brand stuff, which is funny because I have a friend, he says, oh, the name brand detergents are the same as the generic ones. They're all the same. They do the same thing. Well, I'm like questioning now, because these Amish people, they're very smart. One home in particular, they said, was worth over $1.5 million, because they basically, they don't give it, like, the families live together, like, but they the offspring actually buy the homes off their older, their father or mother. They buy the house off their parents, but they keep it in the family. And what happens is then the parents who become grandparents, so to speak, they actually then they have a house built as an addition or like outside the main house where it's basically their place of retirement until the day they pass away. But they keep the grounds within the family. So, that's smart, because that way they, the value of their property, which they keep very well manicured and very meticulous, not only stays with the family, but it is also well maintained, and the value of it just keeps on going up. And I didn't notice they grow tobacco, and I forget, corn, but and now they have to grow for their animals certain things like the corn and stuff. Tobacco, obviously not. I don't think that animals are smoking cigars or cigarettes. But yeah, that stuff stays within the family. They make a business of, they grow all their own stuff. They sell it directly, or they sell to like the milk and the produce stuff. They sell that to other places. I thought they even said Wawa is one of the places they sell their milk and their dairy products. So I thought that was really cool, though. Actually, it was kind of funny. You can see the difference, because the family members of the Amish, even the children, they go to school from they go up to grade 8, and they're basically a single school house. And there's, I think, 3 of them they showed us yesterday, single school homes, from anywhere from when they first go to school to 8th graders. Once they reach 8th grade, they are done with school, and they are in the working field of, working with the families. They actually get jobs outside. Outside of working with their mothers and fathers, or on their homes. But yeah, the kids, like the teenagers, some of them actually get real jobs. I mean, they're not real jobs. I mean, jobs that everybody's complaining, oh, the job force is bad out there. For some reason, there's people, they actually work with regular companies, these Amish people, and they stay within, the Amish beliefs. So I thought that was really cool. But the kids actually start working, which you won't hear about that with Americans. You're always hearing about welfare and not be able to work and things like that. They start working. They put their children to work even at the age of 3 years old. They start to give them something to do around the house, some type of chore or actually doing physical work. So they're not lazy. The guy actually, the last house we went to, he actually did make a comment, and he said something about politics, like they don't follow the same system we do. They're outside of that. That's why, again, when they say they're off the grid, they don't even mean with electronics and cell phones and computers or TVs. They mean everything. So some of them break off, from the Amish culture. There's the Amish and there's the Mormons, which they explained. I think it's the Mormons. They look kind of very similar, but they're more radical, the Mormons, as opposed to the Amish. Now, the woman who did our tour, though, it was interesting. She actually mentioned that she somehow was able to get herself into one of their, like on Sundays, they spend their Sunday nights singing church choirs and stuff. And she said, it's not easy to do because they don't let outsiders into those things. She actually got into one with a lot of work and effort, because she actually is a tour guide, so they know her, so that she had a little bit of an inside scoop on this, on how to do it. And she said the only problem she had is they sing all their church hymns. They're all sung in German. So I said this before, that Amish are very close to German. So is Pennsylvania Dutch, and that just proved it, because they actually, the one guy even said, he says when we speak a lot of English. Our children also learn English, but they're very bilingual because they also speak Pennsylvania Dutch, and definitely they do speak German as well, because that's what that's all derived from, is German. So, but they speak very good English. That's all they do speak around anyone, but they also have to teach the children everything. I think they're almost better educated than the people who in our schools, our parochial schools, and our colleges. Now, I think somebody asked, okay, once you're done in 8th grade, that means you're done your education. The one guy said no, they can go to college if they want to, but your education is technically done once you're, you pass 8th grade, and that's all done by, one school teacher in a schoolhouse, single schoolhouse, and they're taught from up to 8th grade, which I don't know how old that would be, and they work. They really do work too. They don't have any TVs, none of the other garbage that we have that we're so used to, and wooden floors. The houses you could eat off their floors. They let you in their house. I heard they're your neighbors. They're the best neighbors you can have, because if you ever had a problem, they will come and help you. If it means, like, if your house got caught on fire, they would help you rebuild another one. But they go way out of their way. They're very friendly people. So, again, my parents at first did not like the trip, but then my parents want to go back again. We even got a free buggy ride, which we couldn't do yesterday. Now my parents want to do that, both of them. They made these things, they're called some type of corn pop things. They're not corn pops. They're called something else. But they're these things that they're almost like rice cakes. They make them right in front of you. The one home we went to, the woman, she makes extra money, her and her husband, by making these things. And they're really good, too. Kim something. I can't remember. I have to look it up and put it on my Facebook page, maybe snap a shot of it. But, yeah, they're these, like, puff things. You get them up in Lancaster. They're like $3 a bag. It's worth it. She makes them hot and fresh. She hands them right to you in the bag. It's really cool. You can get basically what I guess would be considered all natural, no preservatives, organic if you want to call it that, milks, cheeses, yogurts, And they have that open because that's how they make their business. They work and they make stuff for themselves. Everything is self-sufficient or they're self-reliant. But they also make things for and sell to the public as well. So that's how they keep themselves, pretty well off, pretty much. Now, it's funny because I don't know how other people, but they definitely run on propane gas. They have propane lights in the homes. So they have to have fire detectors throughout the homes too. Because my dad noticed that, I didn't. And the way they do laundry is really interesting because they use some type of high pressure washer. It looks like those things you would see from the, like the 20s or before that. They still use that kind of stuff, and they use regular laundry detergent though. And trust me, their clothes are clean and they didn't smell bad or anything like that. And they don't believe in air conditioning, so that's very hard for a lot of people. Again, I'm going to try to set something up in the near future to be able to do that again. Go on a trip or something. But anyway, last night I did take some pictures. I didn't put those up. I was trying to be careful. But I actually was young Amish kids. That was another thing. This tourist guide said they said the younger ones, when they don't have anything to do for the weekend, and like this Sunday, they didn't have to go to church. They didn't have to get up early for church. Normally they do. I don't know what they were celebrating because they don't celebrate 4th of July the same way we do. They like the fireworks, she said. They said that too. But sometimes the kids get so radical, they'll stay out until 5 in the morning. And it was like, wow. And she even said, the tourist guide, she says, I thought they'd get up at 5. They have to work from sun up to sundown. It's like, no, that's not necessarily true. They get their time off, too, that they can relax and enjoy themselves. So, and they really do. They have fun. They have swimming pools. They're probably more like natural, like well kind of pools. They have the one house had a diving board and everything like that. And I thought this was funny. It was like, yeah, I'd love to see this. I have a friend who works in retail up in Lancaster. But apparently she's the one person, the New Yorker people, they asked, well, where do they wear? They wear those old-fashioned bathing suits. And the tourist guy said, no, they were like, the girls will buy bikinis, wear bikinis, and the guys wear regular bathing suits. So back in my mind, it's like, okay, do they wear thong bikinis then too, I guess? I don't know. But yeah, they're pretty like they go way over the limb. That was pretty funny though, because the house I was in, by the way, the last house we were in, they don't have phones. They only are allowed to have one payphone outside the house. So they don't have that, though. But what they do have, the last family want to, because they do are responsible for working for a business as well. They have their own business as in addition to being Amish. So they don't have any electricity. They run everything off of propane, and they have gas, propane. They look like they have to light those every night. They use natural daylight during the day, no air conditioning. But they have one phone in the house, and they do have cell phones. They allow their kids to have cell phones, but they're the basic cell phones. And that's another story I got to get into, too. But it was funny because the guy says, oh, we got something with AT&T called Black Box. And I'm like looking for it. It's like, Black Box, I never even heard of it. So I looked it up. I finally found what it was called he was talking about. And there is a service you can buy from AT&T. It's not a black box, though, but he called it Black Box, though. And that got me going. All right, I'm going to see if I can find it now. It actually is really interesting, but it is from AT&T. Okay. Pulling it up now. It's called Go Phone Wireless. So I think this is what the guy had, because it is literally, it looks like a black box. That's why I called it. He says, yeah, I got the black box service at my house. So it's basically, it's called Go Home Wireless, because he says, yeah, you can't beat it. It's like $20 a month, $19.99. But what it is, what he's buying is, you buy this black box thing. It's actually called Go Phone. It's more of a charcoal gray. You pay $80 for the unit, but then it's basically like having a prepaid phone for your house. You hook your landline up to it, your landline phone, and it basically sends and receives the calls for $20 a month. Anywhere you want to make calls, pretty much almost internationally, unlimited too, through this box. And it's a wireless connector without having the internet or anything else. So yeah, I got to give kudos to that guy and to AT&T that actually make something like that. But it was pretty cool. So that's what they have, because they have to get calls. Now, it was funny because they say if you call, give us a few minutes because we have the phone outside the house. They're not allowed to have the phone inside the house. That's just a Amish thing. One thing I didn't know, they say, because it was on the tour guide, which I missed, which I'm going to go at another date with my parents. They have, you can tell an Amish house because one thing, they're off the grid. Basically, don't have any wires going to their house. That's one way to tell. The other way is 99% of the time, you can tell an Amish house also because they have green shutters. For some reason, they use green. It just basically indicates that it's an Amish home. There's other ways you can tell, too, obviously. The clotheslines, because they hang their clothes out to dry. They do not dry those. They have a clothesline run from their house. They generally have a barn, but it runs from the house to their barn. They have to have a barn, basically, in some way or another, because they do use horse and carriage, nothing else for transportation. Amish do not drive motorized cars. It's only the Mormons that do. So yeah, they have to have a barn for their horse, and that's their transportation. Basically, the carriage is actually the travel woman said that they can cost up to $8,000, and it was like, wow, $8,000 for just a buggy. But some of them have battery power for like flashing lights, which helps when they're driving at night. Some type of light system. The kids were actually funny because with my parents, I actually swindled them into go into after we were done the tour to the Waffle House, where there was two Amish girls and two Amish guys. They actually were eating at that Waffle House. So that was pretty cool. And I said, oh, were they Amish or Mormon? Because the one kid actually had a striped shirt on, and that's more of a Mormon thing, I thought. So the woman that was the waitress, she said, no, they were Amish. They had the horse and buggy outside. They come in a lot. They love the Waffle House. And the funny thing is, though, yeah, she says, oh, I feel bad. I wanted to bring carrots to feed the horse outside because the horse has got to sit outside while they were inside eating. But the kids were really well behaved. That's any of the kids that we went into the homes. The kids were always well behaved, very polite, very friendly. They look at you in the eye. They don't try to shun away or anything like that. So anyway, that was another story I was going to tell you. But yeah, the kids, this woman who was a waitress at the Waffle House, she said, yeah, the kids are not only really good, but they kind of rebel against their parents. They buy cell phones and are not supposed to without their parents' consent. So they probably buy the smartphones because they're definitely not allowed to have smartphones. That I'm guessing at, but I'm assuming they do. And without their parents' consent, but they do have jobs to pay for this stuff. They don't have it handed to them by their parents because their parents wouldn't allow it. And here was the funny thing is they said that she's heard, they know when they're coming because the kids actually, they're not allowed to play music either. That's against their religion or their belief. They actually blast music in their carriage, and she said you can hear them from like down the street, the kids on the weekend nights, because they will blast music, which they have to hide whatever device they're using because the parents will flip out. And she said they play the music so loud that you can hear the carriages rattle as they're driving. Like the kids around where I live, they do that. They blast the music where it's like sounds like the sides of the car are going to blow out. Well, they do that too. And she says, yeah, I heard them play Kid Rock before. She says, I don't know where they get this music from. So they're either playing the regular radio or they pick it up at the stores and they just hide it from their parents. I think it's kind of funny. So anyway, I was mentioning I thought it was interesting. I thought it was, you see the difference in the culture that's around them and the way they act. But those kids who came in, they sat at the counter, the Amish kids, and I'd love to do an interview with some of these kids. I think it'd be really cool just to kind of pick their brain. But I don't want to get. I mean, if they rebel that much, they probably let me rebel with that too. Like let me interview them. But the fact they're coming out in the public too. I like to go up there. There was a girl that works at the Waffle House up in Lancaster, and she's actually an ex-Amish person. She dropped out of her out of the Amish culture, and I'd love to interview somebody like that for my show here. Maybe someday I'll try to do that. Find out when she's up there and see if she's willing to do it with me. But what was I going to say though? Yeah, they were really well behaved. The kids. I didn't even hear them leave. I snapped a picture without their consent because I try not to get their faces. I know they don't like that. I don't think the kids mind as much as the adults do. But when they left, I asked a waitress, I asked her a couple questions about them. That's how I got in discussion. And there's a reason I'm bringing this up, too, which I'll mention in a moment. But I said, oh, did they tip you and everything? She says, yeah, they tip me and everything. They give a nice tip. They're very nice. They don't act out. Very polite. But then there was a group of younger, 3 African-American kids, and they were dressed in this, I hate to say it, the stereotypical, the pants and everything like that, where the boxer shorts are probably hanging out. And one white female, which was the girlfriend of one of the African-American kids. Those kids were really, really bad. They were very loud. This was on 4th of July. They were really obnoxious, apparently. Not to us. And one was extremely drunk. These were kids, and they were drunk. The African-American kids with the white girlfriend, the one with the white girlfriend. So their bill was like $17 or $20 or like 19. I think it was 1986 or something like that, or 80, whatever, 87. So the woman that was our waiter, she was waiting on everybody. It's a small place. If you ever seen a Waffle House, it's a South thing. Waffle House, I should say. The kids said, well, you can keep those kids, the African Americans, they said, you can keep the change for your tip. Well, the tip money was 17 cents. They trashed the place. The woman was really upset. She said they trashed the table they sat at. If you want to know what a Waffle House looks like, think of a Dunkin' Donuts, and it's a glorified Dunkin' Donuts. They just serve breakfast meals all day and night. And again, it's a Southern thing. But they trashed the place. They had a mess all over the table. They gave the woman a 17-cent tip. She said they haven't raised minimum wage for waitresses since Reagan was in office back in 86. And she said that I only make a little over $2 an hour, so I really depend on my tips. The tips are her money. And they don't make that much business, or they don't do that much business. So she got a 17-cent tip from these African-American kids with the white girlfriend, who then went outside and made more of a mess because the one that was drunk, the black guy with the white girlfriend, apparently, the waitress said, yeah, he was drunk. He threw up all over. He barfed. He left vomit all over the parking lot. And, yeah, who else would have left? I mean, the vomit looked like it painted half the parking space. So, I mean, over half of it. He vomited that badly. So, you did not have that with the Amish kids. They left a good tip. They are very work coordinated. They're not looking for welfare handouts or pulling the ACE card and saying that I'm being victimized because I'm some type of minority of the female perspective or of some other nationality. They don't do any of that stuff. They work for their money, and the kids work just as hard. So when I saw that, I was like really impressed. It's also very depressing too, because when you step into an Amish surroundings, it is clean. They don't believe in pesticides. They do all their own work. They're very friendly. I mean, it looks like something out of a storybook. It's so perfect. And if you look at surrounding areas where there's regular civilization, it's a total mess. It looks like the slums of Philadelphia, like the really rough sections of Philly. So there's a lot to be said about that. So I'm not trying to be discriminatory, racist, or sexist, but the proof is actually in the pudding, and it does speak for itself that these Amish people, they live a different culture, they live a different lifestyle, but there's a reason for that too. They want to keep that going. I mean, nowadays everybody's, and I think the one Amish guy kind of made a comment, since he's out off the grid, so to speak, that about, the rest of America, how it's just basically going the crap, and nobody seems to care. They're all like victimized, and that wouldn't happen if people kind of like would take responsibility for their actions and what they do, and not try to look for government handouts or look for ways to blame others for everything that's going wrong in their lives. So there's a lot to be said. I really do like the Amish country. Definitely will make more visits, because I myself only live between an hour to an hour 20 minutes away, give or take, on the time of day. That is not that far. So yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I really did not do a 4th of July special. I did call it that, so I probably misled a lot of people, and definitely today is not anything. It's the 4th of July weekend, so I'm going to at least acknowledge that part. Everyone, though, have a good night. I need to sign off for now, and I'll be back again. So everyone, have a good Sunday night. This is iWalter signing off.